I'm John Engen. I'm mayor of the city of Missoula, Montana. And with regard to our zoning code, we didn't have our act together. We had a zoning code that had been cobbled together over the course of, in some cases, 70 years, where some of the components were that old. We had stuff that was 30 years old, and then we had iterative steps, again cobbled together, and it was a matter of planners and councils being able to pass what they could as they could, and it just was a mess. No predictability for the development community, no predictability for neighbors, for citizens, and really no clear guidance in many ways for staff or elected officials. So it was a long winding road with many forks and no map. So we decided to provide that map. It was a 2-year process of considerable listening, learning, trust building, helping folks to the degree possible overcome their fears. What are you doing to me? And we finally got there. Had great consultants, but largely it was a homegrown effort. We continue to tweak that zoning code. We find that there are bumps in the road, there are things we didn't anticipate, so we're dealing with those. And that's been a relatively painless process, again, because the format's in place and there's enough trust there that we can sort of march down the path of technical detail without too much concern. And then the second piece is, so I've got this elegant zoning code for the first time in anyone's memory, but I have an organization that's built for the old code, and built for really, I think, a different time. So I took the controversial step in our community of sort of undoing our long-standing city-county planning office that had all these ace human beings, really intelligent, committed folks working in cubicles far apart from each other, in some cases for different jurisdictions and operating under different rules, and we put them all together so that they know the code is consistent, the way they implement that code is consistent, and they can have a relationship with the citizens we're serving, whether it's a neighbor who's concerned about somebody tipping up a garage next to them, or the neighbor who's tipping up the garage, or the developer who's planning a subdivision, or the developer who's interested in doing some adaptive reuse in downtown Missoula. We've created an organization that we hope is seamless, that we hope provides top-notch service, and you do that and you start to attract quality development. For some folks, zoning signals, you're going to allow something terrible to happen in my neighborhood and change my quality of life. For other folks, it's you are going to take away my development rights and temper my ability to do my project and make money. And our job is to sort of reconcile those issues. And I mean, that's sort of the fundamental tension is, what does this change mean to me? And there are still folks who think our zoning code is either taking away their rights as developers or taking away their rights as property owners to the enjoyment of their place. But we think we've got a fairly balanced document. You can't be afraid of this stuff. You have to take the time it takes. I think, I'm a big fan of sort of third parties who can add credibility to the process and to what we're doing, who don't necessarily have the horse in the race, the stake in the game that others who may be too close to it have. So if you can find a really good consultant at a really good price, employ him, get some expertise. I'm not a municipal planner, right? I don't write zoning code, right? But I knew that we had to get it done, and I knew that I had to have the expertise to get it done. You may have it in-house. You may be able to take some baby steps. A lot of zoning code isn't going to be as outdated as ours was. But if you want to have a map, if you want to have a plan, if you want to have a strategy, if you want to be taken seriously, zoning, while not sexy, is utterly necessary.